Hi there, this is another update on my lighting work for Fridge. Again, sorry it's backwards. So after reading the script a couple of times, a few ideas of how scenes might look started to materialise inside my mind. So by combining the current knowledge of lighting that I already have with some of the tips from books I mentioned in a previous post, I hope to create a successful lighting setup. So let's start with what I want to try and achieve and create, and how I visualize the scenes, and then we'll move on to how I hope to achieve this. So Fridge is about a girl that wants to keep her toys cool and safe, but they're scared of the dark, so she chooses to put them in the fridge where there's always a light on, and she keeps checking that the light stays on, and her older brother, wants to kind of disrupt this and ruin her train of thought on that. The mother in this, she kind of stays impartial and doesn't really give a definite answer whether the light does stay on or not. So the idea behind this is it's cute, it's warm, it's kind of fuzzy. We've all kind of asked ourselves this question at one point in the past, or most of us have. And the family that's involved seem like a kind of typical, almost middle class family. There's a stay-at-home mum. The kids have just come home from school, so it's probably early to late afternoon. So for the daytime scenes, what I want to do is try and replicate this warm and fuzzy feeling in this lighting setup. So what I've decided that I want to try and go for is a kind of a warm light setup. So we have kind of a warm, slightly orangey glow to the scene. So I'm going to try and use light temperatures between 2800 Kelvin and 3400 Kelvin, and this is ranging from like domestic tungsten bulbs to the tungsten lights that we can use in photography studios and so on. So by having lighting that kind of reflects the overall feel, I think the film will link together and flow, and visually the words that are said and the visuals will link and kind of make sense more. So that's kind of like the day scenes. That's kind of most of the film. But at the end, just in kind of the last few minutes, there is a scene at night time. So Izzy comes down to check on her toys to make sure that they're still okay, and the light's still on, even at 2:45 in the morning. So what I want to do here is kind of have a large contrast across the face. So when she opens the fridge, we see light on one side and then darkness on the other. I'm not sure how easy that's going to be to replicate, so I'm going to try and do a couple of testers and kind of pop that up so you can see, although I don't have a camera to stick in my fridge at the moment, so I might just use my phone. So anyway, yeah, so to do this, the key for the shot where she's looking into the fridge to kind of see her toys, we're going to use quite cool lighting around 5500 Kelvin to 6500 Kelvin, and that's kind of the range of a flashlight or speed light that you pop on top of a photography camera. So it's quite a cool, quite a white light, and the reason I've chosen to do quite a cool lighting at night time, it might sound obvious. So obviously you've got warm lighting in the day, where the family's together. You've got this kind of banter between the older brother, and this younger sister about whether the light stays on. But then come night time, it's 2:45, everyone's in bed. She's downstairs by herself, and it's a cool shot because it's at night and she's kind of alone and kind of almost isolated. So that's why I've chosen to do a kind of cool light. My script. Why I'm kind of choosing to do a cool light at night time. So now I've gone over what I want and kind of why I want to do it that way. I'm going to try and now explain how this is going to happen. So for the daytime shots, I'll just get my screensaver out of the way. So for the daytime shots, I want to kind of go back to the book I read that kind of touched on using light that was already there. So I want to try and do that first for the daytime shots. This is. So I want the scene quite warm. So I'm hopefully going to have a few domestic tungsten lights there already, and if not, grab some cheap ones from IKEA maybe, and use the domestic lamps that are put and position them maybe two or three around the room. And obviously that's not going to be enough light to light the whole room. So combined with that, what I'm hoping to use some dado lights that are set at around 2500 Kelvin to try and illuminate either the character and the background behind them, or places where the domestic tungsten lights can't reach. So hopefully that will bring the room up quite nicely. We get this nice warm effect that I'm after, and hopefully that will come through. The problem with this is that well, if we're filming in the kitchen, obviously kitchens have windows, so so light coming through the window might pose a problem depending on where it's located and what kind of time we're filming. If we're filming in the late afternoon, it shouldn't be a problem because the light temperature at late afternoon is kind of similar to the tungsten lights that we can use in the studio that the dado lights will give off. So hopefully there shouldn't be too much of a problem. If there is, however, we can either draw the curtains or the blinds over it, or maybe throw like a orange or yellow sheet over the curtain just to then either warm the light up and diffuse it somewhat. So if that is a problem, there's my backup plan for it. It's always good to have a contingency plan. Okay, so the key lighting areas, the day scenes around the room, is obviously where the mother's going to be positioning. From the looks of it, it doesn't seem like the mother walks around too much. She's either going to be stationary, chopping veg, or preparing a dinner or something. So hopefully she doesn't move around too much, so we can light that quite easily by just lighting her nicely and kind of the background around her with this warm glow. And another key area is obviously around the fridge, because this is obviously what the main point of the film is. It's about the fridge. So sorry. Yeah, so we need to light both the outside of the fridge when we can see Izzy looking into the fridge, and then we also need to light from the point of view from inside the fridge so we can see her staring through it. So we've got to light those two aspects. I have done a little drawing that I'll post up later, just on the back of the script, but I'll post it up later. It's kind of like just a very, very, very rough diagram of how it might work. So yeah, at night time, the fridge light obviously might not be strong enough, or it might not give us the effect that I'm after. So to deal with that, I'm just going to use, if it doesn't, I'm just going to stick one dado light in on one side of Izzy, who's the daughter, one side of Izzy, and then pop that to around the temperature we wanted, which I think we mentioned was 5500 to 6500. So we'll stick that around that temperature so it's quite cool, and then we'll point that on one side of her face. That obviously might need a diffuser by either a scrim or a net. So if we do that, I'll illuminate just the one side of her face, hopefully quite nicely, and kind of give us the effect that we wanted. That's kind of my lighting plan that I've just been working on. I'll post up that photo of a drawing I did, just to kind of see how it could be lit, and that kind of deals with both the nice big round kitchen with the island in the middle, and also the long extended kitchen, which is what I've got downstairs. So yeah, hopefully that clarifies things, and that's kind of a lighting consolidation of the plan that I'm going to try and put in action.